Hi, this is Justin Ornduff, and I want to provide a walkthrough of our newly released DVS Bullpen 3.0. In the 3.0 release, we've spent a ton of time, and we're really excited about the new throwing scheduler, which is going to be a very effective yet simple way to where you can provide a throwing program or a schedule of what your client should be doing on a daily basis in terms of their workload. You can also do this for your entire team or your entire organization. So we've made the tools and the logic extremely simple, and we're going to kind of walk through a little tutorial of how that works in additional videos. But that's been the main focus of 3.0, and then we've associated all of the throwing of training phases, performance phases, bullpens, and games in conjunction with how it's going to be interpreted in the throwing schedule. So we're really excited about it, and we know that it's going to be very useful and efficient in terms of your ability to help develop players. In addition, we've added a little training notes tab to where as you're working with clients and you're communicating with them or something pops up, you can easily leave a note inside the dashboard in your client's profile to make sure that you remember what that conversation was, or leave a note for another coach who needs to understand what's going on with the player. And then obviously you always have access to the DVS Bullpen Coach to where you can communicate with your bullpen coach through those training notes as well. So we're really excited about 3.0 and primarily bullpen itself. Just to give you an overview, the main focus and one of the main reasons why we built it was to deliver our mechanical analysis results to you. But most importantly, we want you to be able to effectively communicate those analysis results back to your clients. So the delivery of the analysis is in your dashboard. It's simple. It's also very effective. And we'll work with you upon getting your license to be able to understand those results and share those with your clients so they understand upon getting into the MVP program to improve those mechanics exactly where the starting point is and where they need to be going. And so the other part of this is, all the data, statistics, the information that you put into Bullpen of your clients, it will be historically saved, and as you move forward you can use the graphical tools and the communication tools to share those results as you go. So if you're involved in DVS Bullpen for years, you'll be able to show this progression of your players of where they started in terms of their mechanics, their function, and how they progress in terms of the life cycle of a baseball pitcher. So we're really excited to share 3.0 with you and kind of give you the ability to really show that you're improving your players. We hope you enjoy it. So let's get to the walkthrough now. Thanks so much. Hi, this is Justin Ornduff, and we're going to go through the DVS Bullpen 3.0 overview and walkthrough. And we have now landed on the home screen, the dashboard for 3.0. And what you'll see is a welcome video here. And there's a drop down bar here where you'll be able to see ongoing videos that DVS will provide you in your own dashboard. It'll always provide insight and further information onto the features located within the bullpen itself. So for an example, what you'll see here, we've got an acceleration phase 1 video to which you can play. It's going to give you more feedback and understanding on exactly what goes into acceleration phase 1. So there always will be ongoing information and videos that will be available in your dashboard. So to start using Bullpen, we can always start with selecting a player from your facility, organization, or team that we can go. So this is our demo version here, and we have our Hollywood Stars players here. Okay, but so I'll start with one of my favorite fictional players in Rick Vaughn from the movie Major League. So you can see I can click Rick Vaughn here. I can also just do a quick search and type in Rick, and I can also find my player there. But for right now, we'll hit done, and you see I've selected player Rick Vaughn. So you kind of go from the left-hand side of the screen and down on the sidebar here. Here's going to be Rick profiles or excuse me, Rick Vaughn's profile. And you can see I can upload a picture here. I can fill out some general bio information. I can update his height and weight, and then I can start to log in innings pitched if I want to. One of the reasons that we built the DVS bullpen was to really track function, recovery, and display the mechanical results from a health standpoint. And you can see here, if your team does it or your organization does it, you can track and easily put in daily fluctuations in shoulder range of motion, which we've done here. Okay, so as I do that, I can then come down here and I can see a plot of my client's shoulder fluctuations in terms of total arc motion difference over time. So it makes it really easy. And, bullpen, depending on your license and your engagement, it can be customizable in terms of things that you have or is of value to your organization. So we like to showcase this injury history because sometimes there's going to be a pitcher comes up and he said, hey, I'm undergoing this. I don't feel quite right. Or it's a new player to your team and he's had some injury history or surgery before. And to help your DVS bullpen coach, you can just add, that injury in here. Okay. So you can put all the specs here of exactly what we're looking for. And then you can save it here. Okay. So, and then one thing that's new to 3.0 this year is if you are working with some of your players and something pops up and you just want to add a quick note, you can say here, just bullpen feedback, and you could say, great bullpen today, really attacked well with fastball. Here's just something very basic, right? You can save that there. That's going to save it. And what's going to be able to happen is if any one of your coaches goes into Rick Vaughn's profile, your player's profile, they're going to be able to see that training note from that day. So ongoing that development of what happens. Now here we start to get into the meat of bullpen a little bit. And this is where we've broken down the various throwing phases in terms of training phases, performance phases, bullpens, and games. So you can log just about anything here. So training phase 2, 3, and 4. You obviously put the dates. We're always going to account for pain or soreness, and you can start to log the throws. Okay. You can also add a note from that day if you'd like. Same thing with the performance phases. Here's a new performance phase. I can put exactly which performance phase I did that day. Okay, so let's just say I went into performance phase 2, which is really the first set of distance throwing. Okay, set 1, we usually go sets of 10. So I can just go 3 sets of 10 here. Okay, and then how many accurate throws in each one of those sets? So let's say I did 7, 7, and then 8. Okay, well, that would mean that Rick Vaughn here, he went through and successfully performed performance phase 2. So we'd save that. And you can see here, once you save it, it'll log it in. And you can go back if you mess something up and edit it, but overall, it's going to track it here. So we can continue forward. And the bullpen is going to become preloaded with certain bullpen types. So you can see here, command a fastball to both sides of the plate, 4 corners, max velocity test, but you also have the ability to create your own custom bullpens. So in here, you see it brings up a little table, and as your thrower is performing, you can use Rapsodo, Pitch Radar, TrackMan, whatever it may be, but you can then quickly just add in the metrics here as you go. Pocket desired is basically the location that we provide of our pitcher's pocket, especially if you're indoors and you're training. 5 would be right down the middle. Let's call it low and away would be 7. You can watch a video on this. Yes, it was a strike, and we go to the next pitch. I have the ability to change the pitch if I want to here. So I can go to curveball, slider, back to 2-seamer. Down here, I can go to 4-seamer, whatever it may be. I can save and log that bullpen. And you can see that, Vaughn here has some bullpens built in. We can go back and see every one of those pitches, strike ball, and we can start to see his command efficiency of how well he can execute certain areas of that pitch. And we can keep scrolling down and see some historical fastball velocity here, average and max as we go. Okay. The most important thing is to start to get into this throwing scheduler is you make sure that you log the bullpen's performance phases in games, so that way we know what the appropriate schedule should be. So here, if the day's date is April 7th, it is going to always populate with the current date. I can say, hey, he pitched 5 innings and he had 70 pitches. Okay, you can fill in all the information as it goes. Looks like it automatically reloaded there. So let me come back and get the Vaughn again. So let me go here 1 second. So here, let's pull up Vaughn. Let's go back to throwing and let's go back to the game. And so if I click new game, again, it's going to go automatically to the start date, which is April 7th. I can put as much information here as I'd like. Okay. And then you always got to make sure you hit save. Okay. So you can see that Rick Vaughn's last game was April 4th. Okay. So as I go in here to his individual throwing schedule, the first thing that you'll notice is, when do I want this to start? It's always going to be, it could start the previous day or the day that you're currently on in your time zone. Because sometimes it may be, it's midnight on the Eastern time, which would go into the next day, but it's still 9:00 p.m. on the West Coast. So technically it would still be Wednesday. You kind of get what I'm saying there. So we kind of make sure that that's available. So you're starting off, and when you send out your throwing program, it's always going to be the exact date at which you want to start it. Okay. But you can see, like I was in that game, Rick Vaughn, he last pitched on the 4th. Okay. And then based off his soreness, his next eligible game would be the 8th. Now we're going to get way more into the throwing schedule, but this is where you're going to be able to build out the throwing schedule for that player per week. The one great thing about Bullpen is in the summary tab, this is where you're going to be able to see everything at a glance. Okay. There's some videos here that you can watch to, you'll be able to get more insight to that component as it relates to their score. And then down here, most importantly, you'll be able to quickly generate a report, which once DVS has built out that new analysis for you, you see all the updated information. Then you can hit generate your DVS report. And then from there, you can then send out to your clients. Okay, so there it is. It populates down there. I'm in Google Chrome. We suggest you use Google Chrome. But then you just take this HTML file. You can send it through text, email, and they can be available on pretty much every mobile device. Okay, so from here, you also have the ability to start tracking your team. Okay, so here's my Hollywood Stars. You can start to see all of their data here. Okay, I can get some team summary. If I click on a particular player, I'll be able to start to see his individual specs. Okay, and then the team scheduling screen, which is the be able to see all your players at a glance and be able to assign their weekly throwing programs. Again, we're going to get more into this, okay? But mostly in your settings here, this is where you're going to create your bullpen type, the pitch sequences, and whatever kind of scoring model you may use currently to assign points based off bullpens. And then last, when you want to add a new player, this is the screen to which you can do it. So a lot of features here, but primarily the meat's going to be in this throwing here, where you're inputting all their data as it relates to their throwing, be able to see the mechanical results here, provide some notes back on your players, and then start to assign the daily and weekly throwing program. So this has been a quick overview of 3.0. And if you're going through 3.0 and you ever have a question, DVS is always here to help. Thanks so much.